In 2022, we have thousands of new games to play and still many more waiting to be developed. It can be overwhelming to say the least, so I decided to search for the best classic and old school games that used to be the most popular back in the day and are now remastered of the newest Roblox studio technology. These creations range anywhere from action, zombies, survival, and much more. Also, at the end of the video, I will be listing out old school classic games that I would like to see remastered just in case any developers are watching. Please note that this list is not in chronological order, as each game is going to appeal to different audiences. With all that said, sit back and enjoy. Fireteam was released back in 2015 and had the goal to become a tactical and strategic shooter with lots of teamwork and coordination in order to win. After a large success of the initial release of the game, over 900,000 visits, Dev Team 6 have now created an epic remastered version of loads of content, optimization, and more. Upon entering, you must first select a faction with the current amount being 4. This will determine how you look and the equipment you'll be able to use. Once you join the faction, you'll have to choose a role for your team. Want to become a Fireteam leader, or be on the front lines, or maybe you want to become a specialist and perhaps rock a machine gun. Once you spawn onto the battlefield, you'll notice that the map is abnormally large. This is of course by design. There's only one map currently, but there are many more waiting to be added in the future. Now you must be wondering, how exactly do you win the game? Well, this is where game modes come in. Currently there's only one game mode, and it's called Assault and Secure. Basically there are 4 objective points across the map, and your team needs to ideally capture as much points as possible and defend them off. For every capture, 10 tickets are given to the team. For every death, 1 ticket is lost, and losing an objective, 20 tickets are lost. First team to 250 tickets wins. According to the Wikipedia page, a new game mode is coming soon called Insurgency, where the attacking team must locate and destroy a weapons cache, and of course the defending team must defend the cache. Speaking of weapons, there are an absolute ton of them, with each of them having different attachments you can even add on. The 3 main types of weapons are primary, secondary, and rocket launchers. Each weapon has pros and cons. For example, high calibers will kill enemy in 2 hits, while low calibers can take up to 3 hits. And yes, headshots will always 1-hit kill. Lastly, some cool mechanics that the game has to offer to illustrate realism is running stamina, incapacitation, when you lose all your health except if you're blown up or headshot. You just die at that point. And suppression, where shots get fired at you. Overall, there are many ways to play this game, and honestly, that's what makes it stand out. To all the veterans out there, this one's for you. Zombies Attacking McDonald's is a Hall of Fame classic in Roblox history. This game was released all the way back from 2008. Players must defend the fast food restaurant from the undead. Waves of stronger zombies would progress as the player would need to buy and upgrade gear to keep up. Fast forwarding us to the remastered version, and there has been many changes and tweaks, but the same core foundation. Although the iconic name was changed to Zombies Are Attacking RoDonalds, and I suppose this is due to obvious copyright reasons. Now, instead of just trying to survive in the restaurants, the new map is now a large city with lots to explore, different places to camp, and different spots to fight. And you will also notice that almost every zombie is uniquely different with varying speed, damage, and appearance, which gives you unpredictable combat. After a certain number of waves, you'll be introduced to a boss, which is visually much bigger from the rest, and with a massive health pool. With all the fighting and all the coins that you will collect, you can eventually spend them on either guns, pets, or trials. And these can range all the way from a golden minigun to a ray gun that you can buy in the store, progressively giving you better and more expensive weapons. All in all, a classic grinder of a game which is a standard zombie apocalypse type theme. Now, some criticism I have about the game. First is, they should give the restaurant limited health. This would incentivize players to defend collectively. Secondly, would be able to build items that give utility, such as turrets or traps. And lastly, giving bosses the ability to break blocks, which would solve the problems of bosses being stuck against a wall. Other than this, incredible game, and as I said before, a timeless classic. Next, we have a personal favorite of mine, a game that I used to play a ton back in the day, Defend the Statue. Now, originally made in 2010, this game is where players come together to defeat enemies known as noobs against the great statue of Robloxia. The noob army is made up of random noobs, giant noobs, and even bosses, such as Mr. Hammer and Noobiemancer. Furthermore, from personal experience, what made this game so epic was the challenge it gave. As the waves progressed, it just became exponentially harder because of increased spawning and difficulty, and this made late game a blast. Now this brings us to the remastered version. Now guys, when I say this is one of the best and most underrated games I've ever played, I mean it. I'm even planning to make an entire video dedicated for this game, as not only the gameplay is incredible, but the lore is so intricate and fascinating. Basically, you are identified as a defender, and your statue has 3 lives to prevail. Bosses spawn every 5 waves with overall increasing difficulty. The player count in a server will increase the health of each boss, which of course will balance the game. Now I'll give you guys a breakdown of the game, but I won't give too much away, as it will spoil the experience and the storyline. First, let's talk weapons. What I love about this game is there's 4 different categories of weapons, each having their own advantages and disadvantages. You have melees, which are your epic blades and swords, ranged like ray guns, staffs, and snipers, explosives like RPGs and grenades, and finally miscellaneous like potions, sentries, and hammers. Once satisfied with your arsenal of weapons, time to hop onto the battlefield. But before you do, you have to choose a difficulty out of 4 modes, each corresponding with the lore. Normal mode, which takes place in present time, where the noobs are trying to destroy the statue. Calamity mode, which takes place after the decimation of the statue. Hero mode, which takes place in the past, with the map representing a coliseum, and the noobs of the past are much stronger compared to the modern era. And lastly, triple question mark. This takes place in a timeline where everything has been lost. Everything in the timeline has been clustered and isn't able to be reverted. And to make things even crazier, there are different bosses for each game mode with different enemies. All of this gives you guys so much to do and an amazing challenge. This remastered version of Defend the Statue is truly a game where you have to play to see the incredible work that has been done by the team, and words just don't do enough justice. So I challenge you guys to try and win on the hardest difficulty. Good luck and have fun. Now, we're not finished yet. I want to introduce an honorable mention of a nostalgic game that I used to play a ton back in the day. Arguably one of the best zombie maps of all time within the Call of Duty franchise. I present Transit Zombies. The reason why this game is an honorable mention is because it's not based off a game originally made in Roblox, but nonetheless, this game deserves a spot on the list. What makes this game stand out from all the other inspiration-based zombie games on Roblox is that it has features that don't exist in the original game, such as more guns to survive with, specifically over 70, 15 plus perks, and keep in mind the original only has 6, and 4 different difficulties to separate you from the normies. So if you have ever played the original Transit Zombies, then expect a new and refreshing version on Roblox. And if you have not, prepare to be amazed. To conclude, time for the bit where I list games that I highly recommend for any developer watching to try and remaster here in 2022. First, I would say the Underground War. The original had such a simple concept, but it was so fun. In summary, you're given a sniper and a shovel with 2 teams, and you have to dig a tunnel underground which would navigate you to the opponent's base, where you then would capture their flag. The remastered version could add more weapons, vehicles that dig faster, and possibly more game modes like King of the Hill. The second game I'd recommend is Polygons, a classic fast-paced arcade shooter with android robots. For the new version, it would be cool to see a co-op version, more weapons, more modern mechanics like wall running, and so forth. Third, Zeppelin Battle. In this classic game, there are 2 teams called the Pirates and the Patrol. The main objective is to simply take out your enemies and destroy stuff. You can level up and unlock new weapons to progress. Although the original is very outdated relative to Roblox games today, so the best way to remaster this game is to have better building, revamped scripting, all to revive the Grey Air battle experience. Well boys, this ends the list of some of the best remastered games on Roblox in the year 2022 that have rose from the old days. If you have ever played any of the originals, have any recommendations for any other old games to be remastered, or any thoughts, then please make sure to comment below all of it. Also, I would appreciate a small favor of liking and subscribing to see more videos like this one. With all that said, you guys are the best, and I'll catch you next time.